Hello, 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 beautiful people. Welcome to Monday, May 8th, 2023. I'm so grateful that you're catching this video either live or pre recorded. Like later. I appreciate you. If you are new to my channel, my name is SonjaMarie. What's happening with you? You have stumbled upon a community that speaks astrology and spirituality in a real down home kind of like in your face, but very, very down to earth type of way, Originally from Yonkers, New York. I used to write for Essence Magazine. I was a columnist there. This year, somebody else is doing it, though. I was doing it from 2014 to 2022. So we welcome that new person and pray that they are having just as much success and notoriety as I experienced for 8 years. Got to share the wealth, you dig? And also, I wrote an awesome book in which, I'll be honest with you, I picked up, you know how you just pick up your work every now and again? I picked it up the other day and I started thumbing through it and reading. I was like, you're kind of good, girl. So if y'all want to hear what I believe sun signs are all about, please pick up my book. The link is in the description box below, called The Signs, an Astrological Memoir. It is a book about the sun signs. It's called The Signs, like I said, but it's a book about the sun signs, but in a memoir kind of way, like how I see that astrology is all over. And how, even though you may be born into one sun sign, all the energy surrounds us. Every sign is within us. So I did my best to try to present it in a way in which you can see yourself in everything that you do and all the signs that are around you, you dig? So cop that book, will you? I'm also done a whole lot of other stuff, so you can look me up if you like to do that thing. I want to take the time, though, in this moment to say hello to all the wonderful, wonderful people that do their best to show up live and catch the videos afterwards. Maya is here and up with Keena, up at 11 with Keena. D Beezer, what up, Dorothy? How you doing? Rabbi Rob is here and Vaughn is here right on time. Blow your mind. Robbie Blind. China is here. Jay Walker is here. Life Dance, what's happening? Cicely, what's happening? Kim and Sweet Tea, y'all all in the spot. Ramon and Robin. You know what? I'm so glad that y'all show up. Like for real, it makes me really just warm inside. I appreciate that. I really, really do. And before we get started, I want to give a slight apology in the sense that there are some people that may expect me to come on Fridays because a chick says she's going to be here. So I get the expectation. But I'm going to be truthful with you. Freestyle Friday has been a little challenge for me in the last couple of weeks for various reasons. And before we get started on this week's rundown, whether you want to see it as an excuse or not, that full moon eclipse was a little special. I'm just gonna put it in that way. It was a little special, which was on Friday. If y'all don't remember, May 5th, full moon in Scorpio at 14 degrees, eclipse. And it hit me in a way in which I'd like to share with y'all briefly in a minute. And take the time to be a teacher for you guys and ladies. If you would appreciate a teaching moment, please say yes, yes, y'all, for me, or put your hands up or something, because I really would like to talk to the majority of people who would like to hear what happened with me. And don't be polite. I mean, really, if you really genuinely want to hear it, okay, look at all them wise. All right. And the reason why I'm going to take the teaching moment, including myself in it, because again, this is not Freestyle Friday. This may run into the week, but I'd like for y'all to get this information, if y'all do not know this, in a way in which you can begin to teach yourself. That's the way I was taught. Big ups to Mama Nita and being my biggest mentor in astrology. She always taught us to be independent of her, and which I love, to be honest with you. There were a couple of other matriarchs that I had in my life that taught me spirituality, and I always felt the need to be, they always taught in a way in which to be independent of your teacher or of your mentor. And I appreciate that because it allows us to get strong for ourselves. So thank y'all for the thumbs up. Thank you for being wonderful virtual students, if you may. Thank you. Okay, here we go. It's going to be some kind of rundown, y'all. You appreciate me sharing? Oh, I appreciate that too, Keem. Oh, wow. Okay. So let me put it like this. Without losing you, I would like to attempt to express to you the reason why, in short, because there's a lot of details involved, but in short of why the full moon eclipse kind of took me out of this forum on Friday, okay? And let me just explain to you. The universe is in a circle. There's 360 degrees in a person's natal chart. If I lose you at any point, write the question with the question mark in the front and the back of the sentence and be as specific as possible so I'm not asking you what you're talking about, okay? The universe is in a circle, 360 degrees. When you break that universe up into 12 different houses, 12 different constellations, 12 different signs, you get 12 different houses, right? So I guess I said that in a way in which is obvious, but here's the deal. The bottom line is that that's how you get those houses. You get 12 houses by breaking up the circle 30 degrees for each house. 30 times 12 is 360 degrees. There's a circle and there's the universe. Did I lose you? I pray not, because I'm a little foggy today, and I'll explain to y'all why in a minute. Neptune is doing his deal today. Here's the deal. That circle creating the universe, breaking up into 12 different houses, 30 degrees each, right, would examine, or I should say, will tell you where that particular eclipse fell. 14 degrees Scorpio fell somewhere in one of those houses in your natal chart, right? For me, it fell in my fourth house, a family, a foundation, right? So what happens on one side of the chart oftentimes reflects and or battles and or shows up on some level the other side of the chart. So I'm just going to give you the answer that the fourth house is actually opposite the 10th house. The fourth house deals with family and foundation. The 10th house deals with public image. So if the full moon eclipse landed in my fourth house, which is the reason why I didn't come on Friday, I had a family emergency. Everybody is good. Your prayers are absolutely welcomed, but it threw a Cancer sister off a little bit because my emotions get caught up into situations, being that it was scorpionic and it went deep. My emotions get caught up in situations, so it throws me off just a tad. Plus, if y'all didn't know, I had those two performances that I had to do on the 5th and the 6th. So whatever affects me in the fourth house is absolutely going to reflect the 10th house. Do you know what the 10th house is? Public image, your career, how you shine in the world, your legacy, the world stage, right? Said all the things in the same way, but basically that's it. So if I am being taken over and or affected somehow, some way in my fourth house, the opposite house across the sky in the 10th house will be affected, which means the reason why I didn't show my face. Does that make sense? Do y'all have an aha moment? Boom! Like, how did that affect you? Like, where did that eclipse fall in what house? And then you can look directly across whatever, like the first house is opposite the 7th. The second is opposite the 8th. The third is opposite the 9th. The fourth is opposite the 10th, and so on and so forth. If you looked at your particular chart, you will be able to see that. By the way, you can find your chart at ALABE.com. Plug in your time, your date, and your place of birth, and boom, your chart will come up. And again, the reason why I promote that particular website, Astrolab, is because they have a little synopsis underneath, and you're just not looking at a chart wondering what the heck is going on. Okay, you can actually see and read what this chart says in a really brief way. And if you want to get a reading with your sister, with your girl here, please hit me up on our website at wordlifeastrology.com. Did any of that make sense to y'all? Did y'all get that? Yeah, thank you, Keena. I appreciate that. Yeah, everybody is good, but it was a straight shaken kind of moment, to be truthful with you. And it's still kind of doing its thing, but at the same time, God got it. But that affected the 10th house. I want y'all to, yeah, I just wanted to do my best to express that to you in a way in which you can learn and what goes on in your life, because it's not just about where that eclipse lands. Okay. All right. I'm just going to leave it at that. I could add more information and more talk to it, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. But I appreciate y'all being here today. Please ask as many questions as you want, and know that everybody is good. However, sometimes when that eclipse, I don't know about y'all, but that eclipse hit in a way in which, and again, please talk among yourselves or ask some questions. And I do go back through the comments after these broadcasts. It hit in a way for me and for a couple of people that I saw, in which it was incredibly devastating. But at the end of the day, and I think I may have predicted this shit. At the end of the day, like in another video, at the end of the day, like the dust settled and you go, oh, I see why that shit just blew up the way that it did and what's happening. For me, it proved whatever it is that I was walking into, this new space in my life via acting or artistry or work or the confidence within myself, all of the above, and the shakeups and the changes that I'm having, especially within my foundation, fourth house of family and foundation, that I had to, in some kind of way, and I'm wondering if this is the same for you, you had to kind of control your emotional response. You had to kind of pull back on what you should or could or would have said, or what's definite, what needs to be said. Not only that, what needs to be done in some kind of way, just to wait for the dust to settle. Am I speaking in tongues, y'all? I'm a little cloudy, so I just want to make sure y'all understand me. This was an interesting eclipse, in that you had to continue to operate. Here's the real sentence. You had to continue to operate regardless of the breakdowns that were happening. Does that make sense? Did anybody else experience that? Man, and I'm wondering, and again, if you have a question, put it up. I'm wondering who else experienced that. It's not something that I honestly, and I'm just gonna go on record and say this shit. I'm actually happy in a way that things are developing and or topsy-turvy how they are in this moment in time, because I can still intuitively feel the movement going forward. I can still feel us making some headway, but at the same time, we are dodging boulders. So are you going to be, here's a real fucking question, are you going to be upset by the boulders coming down, or are you going to celebrate the fact that you just missed one? And you swinging to the left and to the right and asking the right questions and getting something at the 11th hour. It's perspective, y'all. Are you fucked up by the fact that you might have fucked up? Or are you celebrating the fact that, oh, actually, I turned that fucked up situation into a better situation, and somebody I didn't even realize was watching me saw something else in me and gave me an opportunity out of the blue. That's not my life that I'm speaking of, but I'm just speaking of specifically. Are y'all getting it? Celebrating the misses. Y'all get what I'm saying? I'm so happy because I feel crazy sometimes. If you don't understand, please say so. Let's break it down as a community, please. I love doing so. If you were in my face, we would take our time getting through this feeling, because truly it felt a little hazy this weekend. Like, okay, I know I'm doing the best that I can. And by the way, for all of the beautiful people that sent out some awesome love and encouragement to me in regards to this show, the excerpt that I did on Friday and Saturday, thank you. Because probably and definitely, I said that same in one same sentence, probably indefinitely, your prayers is what kept the sister remembering her lines, even though my head wasn't in it, even though my heart was really weird about it. But a lot of people showed up and I got some really good reviews. So I'm excited about acting again. I'm excited about getting back on stage and putting this full show out. And I swear to goodness, if y'all in town, y'all better catch a sister and watch the star rise, because I'm gonna be that story. I'm gonna claim it right today, May 8th, in which, oh my God, I remember when. Yep, and she got all her notoriety at like 53 years old. Bam, bam. It ain't over till it's over, y'all. But I'm feeling it so good, and got so much wonderful feedback about it. So I'm hyped about it. In any case, I felt that hype, encouraged, fucking powerful. At the same time, that full moon eclipse was like, well, let's break down all of this shit and create some haziness and make you cry in between it. It's like, really? Do we have to? Yes. Because it's going to have you push forward, because we don't need to deal with this stuff anymore. Okay. If the eclipses was easy, does that mean we missed a cue? No, not at all. Not I was about to call you Naila. Not at all, Vaughn. It's not about. So here's the other thing. Here's one of two things, and I'm glad you asked that. The eclipse energy can absolutely hit you within the next couple of weeks and within 6 months. So I hope y'all understand that. Some people, depending on the degrees of your sun in your natal chart, depending on the degrees of your moon or any other planets in your chart, you may not feel that eclipse, Vaughn, and everybody else until later on. You know what I mean? So I'm not like knocking on wood. I'm not trying to bring the heavy to you, but all I'm saying is that it may not have presented itself. Or the change could have been in a way in which it shows up beneficial, like you was waiting for that breakdown. On some level, you was waiting for somebody to move out the house. You was waiting for something to happen, and you don't necessarily consider it as an eclipse moment. You probably consider as, yeah, I was building and praying on that and actually putting money on that shit on layaway. Like, I wanted that to happen. You dig what I'm saying? Actual layaway or proverbial layaway. Vaughn, I hope that makes sense. You know my vernacular, right? Nazi Vaughn. So yeah, that doesn't no, it doesn't mean anything. Like, yeah, it could either happen later or it just was in harmony with you. Some people felt it, some people don't. Like it's all right. It is what it is. But thanks for asking that. Not everybody is going to feel it in the same way. But here's the other part. Like I always say, if it doesn't affect you specifically and personally, it doesn't mean like it's not going to affect you, because possibly maybe it affect your mama. Possibly maybe it affect your partner. It affects your children. And in that way, it's going to get on you. You can't stay separate. We are all one. That's that's a spiritual answer to that too, though. Now I know you get that, my sister. We all, if it's not affecting you personally, it's gonna ricochet on some kind of way in which you're going to be evolved. No, involved. Make sense? Yeah. Okay. I don't see any other questions other than, wait, where are you performing? Oh, Brittany, I performed at Antaeus Theater this past weekend on Friday and Saturday, doing an excerpt of my one woman, which they call now solo shows. It's a one woman show, but they call solo shows. I did about 15 minutes of it. It's about the complexities of Black women. And it was actually really fucking bomb. But again, I was feeling something inside. But I am erecting the full show, which would probably be like about an hour, something long, around September or October. So hopefully you're in Los Angeles, and when I announce that, you can come see it. It was incredible, and I'm just really excited about it. Thank you, Bijou. Thank you. Well, we're going to get into what's going on this week if y'all don't have any other questions besides what it is that I talked about in regards to this full moon eclipse. I truly can't wait to read back to how it affected you in some kind of way. But let's talk about what's going on today. Because again, remember, we have to look in one step back or two in order to know where we're going. So depending on how that eclipse affected you, or affected people that are around you today, this, or I should say this week, is a weird week. And I kind of put it on Instagram real quick, especially with Mercury being retrograde and shit. But there was something that came through me when I was taking these notes, that this week can be a little confusing to some, because we are really, really busy at seeing, we are very intent, I should say, at seeing the horizon, but neglecting the field, seeing the horizon and where we're going, but neglecting the flowers and the fields and the steps that we need to take. This week is about practicality. So a lot of earth signs are going to have their way, in a sense that they're going to be able to convince us all who don't deal with details to deal with details, to deal with compartmentalizing, to deal with paying attention to the steps and the logic as we move along, because of a lot of different situations that are happening. And I want y'all to do your best. If you're not used to paying attention to the details and the steps, do your best to do that, to keep your head down in a way, because of everything that's fell, or I should say has erupted on some level with this eclipse, or with the past two eclipses, right? The season that we just went through. It's really sometimes difficult to see the forest for the trees, you dig? Sometimes it's difficult to see where we're going. You want to stay on the horizon, but you have to pay attention to where we're going, and because, or I should say, the steps that we're making, because at times it can seem a little, you can just feel a little harried, and you're tired. You're tired of paying attention to the steps. I hope I said that properly, because again, I feel a little hazy. But at the same time, you're tired of paying attention to the steps. Please don't get exhausted. Don't get exhausted about where we're headed. This is the time to ramp up the energy. This is the time to change the perspective, in which I was alluding to earlier. This is the time to recognize that mistakes and that things that are blowing up are for good reason. And I hate to sound redundant, but that's kind of that's what's happening this week. And if you're paying too much attention to like where we're going, as opposed to appreciating the blowups and the steps and the clean out along the way, then yeah, we can miss steps. You dig what I'm saying? And then on top of that, remember that Mercury is retrograde, and it's not going to go direct until Sunday, May 14th. So we want to get the best of Mercury's retrograde this particular week. And the best is cleaning out situations, cleaning out closets, and cleaning out connections with people, making decisions on these things, like, and understanding. And what I mean by making decisions is like convincing yourself of what it is you need to do, because there's one or two people is like, oh, I thought we're not supposed to make decisions and sign contracts while Mercury's in retrograde. True, and very true. It's not ideal to, but at the same time, during Mercury retrograde, what's ideal is to mull over the situations in which you do need to change and make a decision on, right? Ask the proper questions, pull in the proper resources. This is that time, and especially this is that week, because as I'm going to show you, there's a lot of earth energy that's surrounding us that's saying, yo, get it right and tight, because when Mercury goes direct, and when it's time to kick back in after all of this eclipse spits, push up, so to speak, and demolition, so to speak, we need to know where we're going. Does that make sense? Please answer me if it does not. Oh, thank you, Brittany. I appreciate that, honey. It was so much fun. And at the same time, it was very out of body. So, but I got some really good feedback. And I made a couple of sisters in the audience cry. I didn't mean to do that, but at least it touched them in some kind of way, huh? So thank you, Brittany. And I hope that you guys can see the full show. Wait till I announce that in a little while. Bow, bow, your girl is back. I'm forward, back. Ow, ow. I love this feeling, y'all. Okay, today, and again, what are the benefits of Venus in Cancer? Oh, okay, we'll get into that, sweet tea. Thank you for asking that. The benefits of Venus in Cancer. I believe it turned in. Did we talk about that? No. Well, all right, I'll answer that right now, because Venus went into Cancer on Sunday, and I thought I touched on that in the last weekly rundown. But since you asked, let's make it a little bit more clear. Venus is the planet of love and of value, of worth, of passion, of desire, money, beauty. I like to say, especially to my students, that Venus is like the feminine energy. She's like the chick. I tell this in the village. She's like the chick, right? And Mars is like the dude. Mars is the masculine energy to execute what Venus wants. So Venus sometimes doesn't show up practically. Understand that. Venus is all inside. Venus is influence and Venus in your chart. And when I say influence, like what's happening now, per Sweetie's question, Venus in Cancer, what's transiting right now, Venus acts from an internal kind of propulsion, so to speak. And then Venus in your own chart acts like an internal propulsion, like desire, right? Heat from the inside out. So the heat, when it comes to Venus, passion in Cancer, yes, as you may have guessed it, it's all about emotional propulsion. It's all about knowing how to find the worth and the value, the desire within your tears, within your emotional nature, within the nourishing and the nurturing that you not only give to yourself, but that you give to others. It's leading with emotions. That's the Cancer energy. It's also about family. So when Venus shows up in Cancer, it's about putting that love and that dedication, that understanding on your family. You understand what I'm saying? Like, and a Cancer, honestly, is about solidarity when it comes to family. Like, how are we going to get together? How are we going to make this happen? And here's the deal. I'm having a slight little download that I'd like to just push out there. We all have drama and we all have learning. Let me say drama, AKA lessons, when it comes to our family. When Venus is in Cancer, this is the long answer. This is for you, sweetie. When Venus is in Cancer, it says, yo, you need to figure out what's the worth of having your family around. What is the worth of having your family around? Is Venus also impacting planets in Taurus right now? Absolutely, because Venus is in Cancer and most planets in Taurus presents a sextile. So that's harmony, LB. That's for your quick answer. But Venus is about, with Venus in Cancer, it's about knowing the worth of your family. We do oftentimes need to learn these lessons from our family, learn who we are as an individual by learning the lessons within our family, understanding what family traumas and victories, right, that we may have within our family and how they slide through our DNA. But one of the biggest lessons in energetic show up with Venus and Cancer is about how you value your family too. You understand what I mean? Like, when it's time, does your family show up and how do they show up? We may at times have a vision in our mind how we would like our families to show up. You know, it's based on what it is that our families have. We compare ourselves to our family. We compare ourselves to society. We compare ourselves even to what it is that our ego may think we need. Even our journey, maybe it's not ego, maybe it's our feelings that says, God damn it, I wish I had a father that was there. It would have been opportune. It would have been a situation that you can learn from and grow from and be happier from. But the fact that your father wasn't there, what also did you learn? It's about perspective. It's about loving up your family in a way in which you see what they gave you as opposed to what they took away. Venus in Cancer. That's a long answer. Who knew I was going to rhyme like the boogie down dancer that I am? Oh, Bijou. Oh, Bijou. You going to cry, honey? That little bit of Pisces in me, and you never, ever, ever denies the tears, huh? I love for crying. And here, I love crying. You already know that. And here's that thing about Venus, too. It promotes the tears. It promotes the need to wash away some things, right? We all want to like suck it up sometimes. Even me this weekend was like, oh, I just felt so loved when my sister Biggs, aka Naila, when Nettie and Sandrine showed up as a surprise with a big old bouquet of flowers. Like, all the tears wanted to pour out based on what it is that I went through this weekend and the fact that I still had to show up on stage and give hundreds of strangers something that I had no idea I had the capacity to do in that moment. But when I saw my sisters, I just wanted to get it all out. That's Venus in Cancer, finding the worth and getting it all out. finding the worth and allowing it to not only add, again, value to your tears, but allow you to strengthen, allow you to put some energy on your passion. Whew, that makes me want to go off on a whole nother tangent. I'm gonna leave it like that. Venus in Cancer is necessary in so many different ways. Let's explain, because I haven't even gotten to the goddamn, it's 30 minutes in and I haven't even started the week. Oh, Lord, what y'all doing to me today? What y'all doing? Sounds like the conversation I had with my son this past weekend. Come on, Jay Walker. You know we family. The tribe always spits what the tribe reflects. Y'all get that? All right. On Monday, the moon today, the moon is in Sagittarius for a little while until it turns to be 7:33 on the east side of life. That's Eastern Standard Time. But at first, we're feeling what it is that I'm feeling now, quite honestly, is that moon squaring Neptune. The moon squaring Neptune. Please put any questions up if you felt like I ended that last conversation a little quickly and you didn't get everything you needed to hear. But the moon squaring Neptune today, feeling a little hazy, but pushing physically to make it look like you're doing something or doing what you need to do. And the reason why I say that is because the moon in Sagittarius squares Neptune in Pisces. Moon in Sag always wants to move. The moon in Sag is physical. The moon in Sag is like, I don't want to deal with anything that's emotional. It displaces shit. It displaces its emotion and what it needs to do from an ethereal space, an emotional space, because the moon in Sag always just wants to stay physical. As long as I'm moving and grooving, going to the store a bunch of different times, looking productive, but not really being that, I don't have to deal with Neptune and the etherealness that's happening right now, the haziness that's happening right now, the creativity that wants to come through, or the escapism that wants to come through. Y'all hearing me right now? The moon in Sagittarius is doing its best to keep us off of our imagination, and our imagination is doing its best to keep us away from the daily activities that we have to do today. So there's this real weird push and pull of haziness. I know I gotta go to the store. I know I gotta do my work. I know I gotta go pick up these damn kids, but I'm sitting at the light for 5 minutes because I want to escape with Neptune. Does that make sense? I'm just saying. So when there's ever a square situation like that, give yourself an opportunity to do a little bit of both. I'm just going to say that. And I'll be truthful with y'all. You are pulling me, y'all, this whole thing, weekly rundown is pulling me into my moon in the moon in Sagittarius and being able to do something. But as soon as I get off of here, I'm going to escape because the water in me, teaching y'all, the water in me wants to roll with that Neptune water, Pisces. Y'all get what I'm saying? Teaching y'all intuitive learning for the village. You get what I mean? So the bottom line is give yourself a little bit of time to do both instead of fighting the need to want to seem like you're doing something. Moon in Sagittarius. I got to look productive, but I ain't doing shit. That's the feel, right? It's okay if you don't do shit. Just do a little bit that you can and do the rest later and go to bed, like I always say. The moon, however, today is trining Jupiter. So let that optimism fall on you where it may, so you can manifest more. And that's what I was feeling today as well. Like, why at any point in time should you beat yourself up for any changes that have happened in the past couple of days, for any realizations that have happened, for any emotional, like topsy-turvy information and situations to just blow up in your face? Here's the deal. The Skittles are still falling. Do you get what I'm saying? The blessings are still around you. You've still worked up until this point, even though you may feel a little hazy right now, even though, again, and I have to go back to what this eclipse season did for us. Like, truly, don't discount that. And to Vaughn's point, you might not feel it right now, but know that changes are happening around you. So how are you digesting it is the point. You get what I'm saying? And with this moon trine and Jupiter, it's like, still do your best to take a Skittle or two and put it in your bra, boo-boo. Take a couple of the opportunities that look like they're optimism, that look like they're good for you, to remember that, as opposed to seeing the cloud of dismay that may find its way around you. Be like, no, there's still some light, bitches. Like they don't get caught up. Don't get caught up in what's leaving. Don't get caught up in any hazy and confused and what has changed, right? Jupiter's like, I still got y'all. Understand that, all right? Wait, y'all have to put in the little question marks in front so I can really find the questions, okay? But I happen to roll up on LB, and she's asking, is escapism bad? Too much escapism, that can be overwhelming. Well, here's the deal. I mean, escapism is just that. It's an opportunity to break away from your reality so you can gain a different type of perspective. So escapism is basically needed, or I should say, however it's parlayed and utilized, you'll know if it's beneficial for you or not. Does that make sense? And here's the deal. And I'm only answering this by throwing the ball back in your court, because it's not up to me to decide whether escapism is good for you or not. It's up to you. You understand what I'm saying? And I mean this for real, LB, and everybody else. We all know when you drink one glass too many. We all know when you slept 2 hours longer than you should have. You understand what I mean? We all know that when we escape and we stop doing the things that we need to do, or I should say we're not clear about the things that we need to do, and we kind of go far out to Pluto instead of just going to Mercury. Y'all get my analogy or my visual? You understand that you escape just enough to get perspective is the lesson, is the assignment. When you escape all the way out and you find it hard to come back to one, I don't know. Was that enough? Was it too much? It's on you, boo-boo. Does that make sense? Everything in moderation. How about that, Bijou? Yes. Thank y'all for answering and being connected. I just wanted to be able to say that. Okay. Today, also, the moon is opposition Venus. Venus being in Cancer, which Sweet Tea had me explain a little bit further, is an opposition and balancing the moon. So I'm glad you asked that question to bring it back to one, because the moon is saying in Capricorn later on after 7:33 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, that moon in Capricorn is like, okay, we need to get serious. Here's the practicality that's coming in. How do we balance out what we're worth based on the practicality that's coming in? Balance practical expressions versus emotional desire, a push and pull moment. Are you cold or are you being needy? That's a real motherfucking question. And let me elaborate on that for just a second. Oftentimes we have to decide. Ooh, we spirit, don't let me go there. Oftentimes we have to ask ourselves a question. Are we being and with this in mind, with this moon trying to balance out Venus, because Venus is about, again, desire. That's it. That's internal, that internal propulsion. Whereas the moon is taking it as an expression, and that's bringing the desire outside the body, the moon as an expression. But the moon is looking very opposite than what it is that we feel, like Venus. So if that moon comes off like the moon in us, or as it's affecting us, is allowing us to be too stark, too ambitious at the end of the day and tomorrow, okay? Too ambitious, too acting like that we are in control of what it is that we need or we have. Maybe that neediness, or I should say that Venus in Cancer is like, but hold on, we actually need to cry. Hold on, we actually do need our mama. Hold on, we actually do need family. So here's the point. How we respond versus what it is that we need, we're going to have to find a balance in that. Be honest with yourself. And I'm so glad LB asked that question. You know why? Because it's about you showing up for you. It's no with the moon being in Capricorn, it can show us, or I should say, make us feel like I don't need anybody. I'm going to protect what it is that I have with some type of control. And Venus in Cancer goes, you actually do need somebody, boo-boo. You need your mother. Ask her for a goddamn hug and stop being so weird about it. Do y'all get this? Or do I need to explain even further? I answered all the questions for you. I hope so, sweetie. Y'all get this? Yes, y'all. Thank you, Elbel. So it's that balance. You're going to show up as a boss, the moon in Capricorn, and you know damn well you need a hug. You understand what I mean? You're going to show up way too self-righteous and shit when you know damn well your desire, Venus and Cancer, is like, yo, I just actually, I feel like I need to be self-righteous, but at the same time, I feel like I need to receive some things. I need a little bit more mentoring. I need a little bit more love on me. I need to go, again, talk to my mama. I need to figure this thing out. I need to cry. Does that make sense? Resonating bigly? Oh my gosh. You've been talking to that other dude? That bigly? Okay. Again, ask questions if it doesn't make sense. I got the whole week to go through. Tuesday, the moon is strong in Capricorn. And I love, honestly, when the moon is in Capricorn. Depends on what else is going on. But it always makes us get things done. Y'all know that, right? When the moon is in Capricorn, regardless of what sign you are, don't tune out because you're not a Capricorn. This is affecting all of us right now. It's about getting our ducks in a row. Yes, yeah, we could feel like, all right, well, let me get a little serious against that Venus. I don't know if I need to cry, but you do. So balance it out. Cry a little bit, be a little boss a little bit. But when the moon gets into Tuesday, now it's rocking with a couple other planets that's going to force you to be a little bit more self-righteous, going to force you to be a little bit more controlling, prayerfully after you got these tears out, after you escaped on Monday. Y'all following me? So Tuesday is like, okay, we cried all we needed to cry. We balanced out that Venus and all that type shit. Tuesday is like, let's get on the board. Let's roll. Moon and Capricorn is like, okay, we got rid of that thing. Let's make the decisions. Pull back. Let's make the order. Let's gather the resources. Let's ask the questions. Let's be the boss of our lives. Let's look towards the horizon in a way in which we can take the practical steps to move forward. That's why this week is being done in such a practical way that you got to keep your head down and you don't allow the emotions and whatever happened in the last week or so to kind of take you out. Does that make sense? Back to LB's question. If you allow what took you out to bring you under, you're going to miss the practical steps that this week wants to push you through. You get that? Okay. All right. And here's the other part of that Tuesday, tomorrow. That moon in Capricorn is going to trine Mercury going retrograde. So that's another opportunity for these controlled emotions, whatever the moon in Capricorn wants to say. Like I said, and she handles things like a boss. She handles things with seriousness, with practicality. She handles things in a way that she can look a little self-righteous at times, but she got to have her shit together. She or he. I'm just giving a little feminine energy right now, right? But tomorrow, she or he is going to match up right and nice with Mercury retrograde. That's a good deal. Right? Because the moon in Capricorn is like, as a boss, emotionally speaking, I need to know that the information that's being reviewed, Mercury retrograde style, is in alignment with where we're going. Y'all get that? With the boss that I need to be for my life in this moment in time, with the practicality and the logic that I need to use in this moment in time. Let me reevaluate my steps. Let us clean the closet and make sure that what is happening around me is clear in my brain, that I don't feel duped. This is tomorrow. Y'all get what I'm saying? This is a big deal. At the same time, the moon is in conjunction with Uranus. Radical changes are putting you in the spotlight. Do you approve? Is what I put on here. The radical changes that are happening are putting us all in the spotlight with the sun hitting that Uranus. It's like, yep, the changes that are happening, the changes that have happened, even the questions that are coming up around Mercury retrograde is putting you in the light. Even though you want to sit there and cry about it, you want to escape about it, you're in the light. You're on one. Everybody sees you. Why? Because you've been doing the work the last couple of months to get here. It's a weird ass time in that regard. That the newness is showing up for you to put you on a pedestal in a sense and to make you walk through this new shit. But old shit is leaving, kicking and screaming and yelling in the most passionate kind of way, trying to pull you into old habits as well. And old people showing up and old situations showing up to remind you and or convince you that that way is not the way. It's such a murky moment. But if you keep that Jupiter on you, but if you keep the changes happening in the front of your face in the good way, the sun conjunct in Uranus, you'll be able to see that these changes are necessary. You got to hold the course, keep your head down. This week is practical. I'm saying it in 7 different ways so y'all can get this. This makes sense? Am I speaking, Bijou? Okay. I know it seems like I say this a lot, y'all, but I say moving forward a lot in regards to different things that are happening in the sky. If you can really recollect, I know somebody just said out there, she's always saying that shit. Yeah, on some level, because there's so many changes that are happening, I'm going to keep saying it. I'm trying to keep us on the street. I'm trying to keep us on the street, on the path, on the way, because they, the infamous they, are working hard to keep us off the path. And they're coming in different ways. They're coming through Mercury retrograde. They're coming through these eclipses. They're coming through dramatic situations with Scorpio and full moon eclipse. You dig what I'm saying? They're coming in trying to convince you that radical changes are not the best way of going, when it absolutely squares Uranus. And that's what's about to happen. They're trying to throw us off our square and tell us that what we know to be true for ourselves is not the way to go. You know, you, as your teacher, as your mentor, as just the chick talking to y'all right now, I'm going to say 9 times out of 10, you know exactly what you're doing. I'm here to remind you to stay on your path. On Wednesday, the moon is staying in Capricorn for a little while, but then it's going to go into Aquarius, which is going to throw some shit off. So understand this, while the moon is in Capricorn on Wednesday, it's going to trine the sun, right? Because we're in Taurus season. So the sun will trine the moon, practical harmony. Work the plan as much as you can. Again, if you want to stay away from decisions and signing contracts, you can do that. But squirrel, I want to let y'all know, I bought a car while Mercury's in retrograde. Even though my radio was going on and off for a couple of weeks for no apparent reason, I want y'all to know that Mercury retrograde doesn't have to stop your life. It is about review. So if you need to make decisions in a practical way this week, just make sure you review, and get on somebody's nerves about asking them the same question 5 times so you can get the same 5 answers. You understand what I'm saying? On some level, you can't let retro stop you. If you need to make a decision, you just have to be clear. But we got to move forward. We got to work this thing, because if we stop for a moment, I'm saying it a whole nother way, we will allow the destruction of these eclipses to take us out, psychologically and emotionally, and we don't want to do that. You understand what I'm saying? Is my point. This week, that moon hits the sun. I said that in a practical and a harmonious way on Wednesday. On Wednesday, also, the moon is opposite Mars, right? Because Mars is in Cancer, the moon will be in Capricorn. There we go. Need to organize our feelings and to manage where we are going. Capricorn and Cancer is opposite, like I just said, but they work really well together when they respect each other. Any oppositions do, right? Because again, like I think I explained to y'all before, it's the seed of one presented in the other. So the bottom line is that even though Capricorn can come off cold and controlling at times and is about its business, and Cancer is all about the feels, trust and believe Cancer can be about its business, and Capricorn really is incredibly sensitive. So here's the deal. When the moon is trying to balance out with Mars, it's about being practical as much as possible with your decisions and what you need to feel and however you need to express, so it can lead you and take you exactly where you need to go, and can give you an intuitive hit. And Mars and Cancer go, okay, we got the practical answer and let's move this way. You get what I'm saying? Once you got the answers answered and your ducks in a row, don't feel no way about your intuition telling you, okay, with that information, let me go this way. Does that make sense? Where it's less about the information that's convincing you and more about the fact that you feel comfortable knowing that you have some answers and that your intuition can take it from there and go exactly where you needed to go after a prayer. Does that make sense? Come on now, I need y'all to be with me. I need y'all to be in the words between my words today, because Spirit is speaking for me. Trust me when I tell you. The moon will sextile Neptune. And if it doesn't make any sense, please tell me too. The moon will also sextile Neptune on Wednesday. Come on now, imagination is getting involved. Imagination needs to thrive, so let it happen. The moon in Capricorn says, yo, okay, I'm going to give you respect. Even though Neptune seems a little murky for my taste, is what the moon in Capricorn says. I'm going to give you respect in the fact that if you can see that I can practically work out these things, I'm going to let our imagination just go there. I'm going to let our imagination just thrive. I'm going to let us escape a little bit and to stay above the mundane. Does this make sense to y'all? Hopefully. At the same time, here's the real weird ass crunchy shit that's happening this week. I can't stand it, but we're going to be better for it. The moon is also square in Jupiter. So here you have the moon in Capricorn, sextile and Neptune saying, dream, baby, dream the impossible dream. As long as you are practically taking care of the things that are around you, again, paying attention to the field as you go towards the horizon. You dig? Paying attention to the logical things. I'm going to allow you to use your imagination and see the field as well, and the lilies and the music, and have fun in it, right? The moon is absolutely saying, but I don't feel the results. I don't feel the rewards just yet. I don't feel the Skittles coming on me. The moon square in Jupiter. Here's the deal. Don't worry about that. Please and very please. And this is what it looks like. I just heard this. Somebody will say, well, you tried that new idea and you tried it before and you're trying it again. Didn't you learn your lesson? Didn't you realize that it's not going to work? And in your mind, deep in your soul, you say to yourself, what the fuck are they talking about? I know what I'm doing. Even it's a new day. I know that this opportunity is going to garner some more opportunities. I know this situation is going to blow up in the way that I needed to blow up because I'm doing it with different vigor, with different people in place. Why am I letting outside sources talk me into saying or believing that what it is that I'm putting down practically is not going to garner the rewards? You'll see. Trust and believe. Don't let them talk you out of it. Thank you, Kina. I appreciate that. Yes, my donation, if you'd like to donate monetarily, the Venmo and the Cash App and PayPal is right below this video. Thank you, Kina. You're so sweet. So I hope all of that made sense to you. Also on Wednesday at the same time, that moon being in Capricorn, nope. That's when it's riding into Aquarius. That moon being in Aquarius at the end of the day is going to conjunct Pluto. Pluto is going backwards now, but it's like the first degree, if not 0 degrees in Aquarius, right? So you're going to feel your power. You're going to feel your power to evaluate what your power is actually doing. Now, let me really unpack that shit because that felt good coming out. Again, this week may not seem like there's a lot to that's going to be proved or proven in some kind of way. But with with the moon conjuncting Pluto going retrograde, we start to sit back and look at what it is that we've already laid down in a retrograde kind of way. Sit back and see how our power or the lack thereof has affected either our life or everybody else's life or people that I work with, or how you show up for your health or whatever the case may be. Does that make sense? Here is an opportunity on Wednesday for you to really sit in your feelings about how you are affecting the new that's coming towards you, how you are affecting it in the best way, in the worst way, in a really kind of weird, haphazard, I haven't really been giving my energy into that kind of way. I need to step up kind of way. Where is your power laying? We need you. Remember, Pluto is going to go backwards until October, 10/10 to be exact. So this is the moment and when we start really fucking realizing it on a feeling kind of basis in our heart, what transitions, what powerful spaces am I laying down in order for me to not only win, but for everybody to win? If things start to slow up in your life, it's not personal. It's because we have to evaluate and reevaluate is my point, and I'm saying it 3 times, so we can reevaluate where we're going. Because once we start taking these short steps, honestly, especially with Pluto feeling itself and then going back direct in October, there's no going back. There's no going back because Pluto will be in Aquarius for the next 20-something years. How about that? For a thought. You get what I'm saying? Yes, y'all. I know y'all listening. I'm doing my best to pull these thoughts together in my mind. On Thursday, the moon being in Aquarius, this is where it starts to get a little hazy. That moon in Aquarius will square Mercury going retrograde in Taurus. When you feel, how about this? When your feelings think that it's all under wraps, but your brain is still figuring it out. Meaning that moon in Aquarius goes, I know what it is that I'm feeling. I know what these lilies, what the fields are telling me. I know the movements where I need to go in order to see that horizon. And Mercury retrograde is like, no, you don't, boo-boo. You want to know. You're trying to convince yourself to know. This is Thursday. You're trying to convince yourself to know what it is you think you know, but we're still re-evaluating some things in a Taurus kind of way. Remember, Taurus and Aquarius are square because they both think they know, and they're both incredibly stubborn on some freaking level. The point of the matter is on Thursday, when you show up as a know-it-all, when you think that the steps that you are making are these steps in order to go forward, think again. Just keep reevaluating and talk to people about it. Like, show up with people that you trust, and ask them, how did that look? How did that information come off this time? I mean, how did I look? I mean, did I say that already? How did I can you read this over? Can you see where I stand? Can you interpret, or to reading an email and or a scribe, and or this is the conversation I want to have with my boss. Can I express some things to you and tell me how I'm showing up? That's what Thursday is all about. Sometimes you just might have to ask somebody in the community, help me to see this a little bit different, because what I think I know and what I think I feel in this moment in time, I'm being forced to see again and again and again and again. And I might be wrong on this thing. So I want to be right, so I can make these, want to be right in my own way, in quotes, so I can make these steps towards the horizon and I don't lose my footing. This makes sense? Ooh-wee. On Friday, the moon in Aquarius still. This is why it gets a little hairy. First, on Thursday, it's up against Mercury retro. Ooh-wee. A lot of misunderstandings, like I just said, especially within yourself. So ask the questions over and over again, so you can make the steps. But on Friday, the moon in Aquarius is also squaring Uranus, and it's also squaring the sun. So again, there's a lot of push and pull. There's a lot of questioning our steps. With Uranus, is questioning the changes that are around, the uniqueness that's happening. With the sun, it's questioning our future, it's questioning our core, it's questioning our vulnerability, overthinking the fact that, am I supposed to be going where I'm going? Allowing people to be an influence on you, like I said a little earlier, about what it is that I'm doing and the decisions that I'm making. This week, you can be convinced otherwise, but stay with what it is that you know intuitively. Prayer is going to save your ass. Trust me when I tell you, and I tell y'all all the time, especially on Sunday. I'm going to get there in a minute, because Sunday is a day of prayer with Neptune being involved. But on Friday, just to stay with that again, Thursday before that, the moon is squaring Mercury retrograde. Then Friday, the moon squares Uranus. Then the moon squares the sun. There's a straight little standoff. There's like this stubborn kind of way of, I know what's best for me in this quality of life. Do you know where you're going? Do you know where you're going? And if you don't, somebody answered no. You know the first couple of steps to get there, right? You know the first step is to get out of bed and keep going to work, right? You know the first step is just to take care of your children and to keep praying, right? Even if it's just one step, you know what to do. Do you know where you're going? Ask the questions, be as intuitive as possible is the point with all of these squares, right? Also on Friday, speaking of do you know where you're going, the moon in Aquarius is going to quincunx Mars, movement, right? So knowledge wants to prove that it's smarter than our intuition. That's what's being questioned this week again. The moon in Aquarius going, well, I know. And I want to stand off with Taurus. I want to stand off with all of them motherfuckers that think that they know more than me. Okay, but before you do that, though, make sure you figure out what you're standing up against. Make sure you figure out that they're not only, if they're not right, but that you need to add a few more equations to where you're going is the point. Don't allow your arrogance to run away with you. And on Friday, with the moon in Aquarius, quincunx in Mars, it can literally try Aquarius arrogance. Aquarius needs to know, go up against the Mars in Cancer going, well, I feel like we should do this. And emotionally, it feels good to go over here. Now, here's the understanding too, is that Aquarius oftentimes, especially any air, can oftentimes prove to be a lot more viable than water. All them elements do that. Fire, air, and the earth thinks that it can bully water energy. Y'all know it can't, right? Y'all know it can't, right? Like water is just as powerful as the air, fire, and the earth. So the bottom line is if Mars, which is carrying a lot of heat, movement, motivation, keeping us in pace this week, okay, intuitively, if that is going up against and being a little frustrated by the overthinking, by the moon in Aquarius, kind of I know, and arrogance, you got to slow down for a second and give the water its spec, its respect. Your intuition knows exactly where it needs to go. Couple it with some facts, some new information that you need to get, and still stay in contact with what it is you feel. She wins, he wins intuitively. Mercury retrograde is sextiling Venus on Friday too. So come on now. Mercury retrograde being in Taurus is sextiling Venus in Cancer. Rethinking your worth and your value to a situation could actually be beneficial. Boom. Do I need to say any more? That Aquarius energy, thank y'all for the 29 likes and thumbs ups. I appreciate y'all being here. Yo, if this resonates with you, share this information. At the very least, give me a like. And I really, really hope that this information is landing in some kind of way. But Mercury hitting Venus is like I've been saying, if we're thinking about it properly, Mercury going retro. Y'all hearing me, right? If we're thinking about this properly, let me put it a lot more clearer. It's like having all of these examples, I should say, options in front of you. That's the field that I talked about in the beginning of this. Having all of these options and sensitively, openly, intuitively picking the options as you go along to what's working for you now, and what could possibly work for you in the future. Carefully selecting those choices, those options, asking inquisitive questions, qualifying every step that you make. So when it hits Venus on Friday, it's about showing you what you're worth. It can come up monetarily. You can get a little bit of bump up in your salary, or somebody can just slip you a couple of dollars underneath the table and be like, wow, how you rethought that thing, how you saw a situation, a confrontation happening, a problem happening before we even needed to solve the thing. I like that thing. Let me slip you your worth. Let me give you some money. Let me pump you up. Let me share the love. Y'all get that? Come on now. I appreciate the thumbs up. I just want y'all to get this more than anything because it's a lot of information. And again, I just hope that it's not going over your head in this moment. Ask questions. Question mark in the front and the back of the sentence. I'm also going to do readings today too. So hold tight for those that want it. On Friday, if we can really, again, stay in alignment with what it is that we're rethinking, just to reiterate, and stay in the value of it all, that moon in Aquarius wants to play nice with Jupiter. It's saying, okay, maybe I was a little arrogant. Maybe I did want to jump the gun, emotionally speaking, because I feel like I know it all and because I feel like I'm pushing past some information or I should say, I'm pushing past this information because everybody else is slow. That's what that moon in Aquarius says. Everybody else is slow and I'm trying to get there. We get that. But again, practically speaking, this week, we're checking the fields. We're staying right where we are. We know exactly where we're going, but we're making sure we don't fuck up along the way, is the point. Well, that moon in Aquarius says, all right, well, I'm just going to play with Jupiter then. Well, go on, do that. Go sit there and play with Jupiter and count how much money you made. Count how many blessings are coming through. Count the opportunities that are happening. Jupiter says, find a way to get happy. Let the practical information go throughout the day. And then at the end of the day, go have a party on Friday. Go sit with a couple of people and talk about what it is that you discovered this week. You understand? And what you're going to do once Mercury goes direct. You understand what I mean? Stay detached from the actual walking through the field, practically and logically speaking, and compartmentally speaking. Stay detached from that and just be happy about what's happening. Does that make sense? With the moon kissing in a very favorable way, Jupiter. Just be happy about the thing. Don't get in the way of overthinking, with overthinking. Come on, y'all. Tell me y'all get this, okay? Please. On Saturday, the moon slides into Pisces. Here we go. As the moon is sliding into Pisces, it's going to sextile Mercury retrograde. So in this way, you're like, okay, once it goes into Pisces, intuitively, you know, oh, okay, cool. Those decisions that I made, this retrograde energy that's happening, the cleaning of the closets, the answer, asking the qualifying questions, the reorganizing, all of the Mercury retrograde things is proven to be beneficial because I took my time and I paid attention to the logical steps. Boom. The moon, check it out, y'all. The moon is also going to be in Pisces, is also going to conjunct Saturn. Come on, y'all. The discipline proves today that spirit is on your side. If you can stay out of your head this week, trying to pull it all together for us. If you can stay out of your head this week with the overthinking, on Saturday, the moon in Pisces sitting up with Saturn going, good job. Thank you for doing that. So now we can ride above this thing and show you the lessons, show you how you bust through the fear, show you what the work that you just did and staying on the course, not escaping too much, not overthinking too much, but actually taking care of every situation as you did, staying on the track. I'm showing you how this work is going to benefit you in the long run. Because spirit is on your side. I'm showing you Saturn is like, here's the deal. Whenever Saturn hits us in some kind of off way, it always comes back with a reward. I want y'all to know that. Saturn is not the bad guy. Saturn teaches us to stay in formation. It's Capricorn's planet. Stay in formation. So with it being in Pisces and the moon getting in Pisces, it's like you stayed in formation from a spiritual perspective, boo-boo, and thank you. And thank you is what you'll feel possibly maybe on Friday. Reward yourself. Okay. Also on Saturday. Also on Saturday, the moon, come on now, is trine in Venus. The feeling worthy, feeling it internally, feeling like, okay, I did that for a reason. Not only is the moon hitting Saturn going, job well done, but the moon is hitting Venus. Now you get the reward, or you get the feel good at the very least, because Venus is about internal passion, desire, how you feel, right? On top of that, the Venus is trine in Saturn. Y'all see what's happening? On Saturday, it all comes to light. Venus being in Cancer, trine Saturn in Pisces. So here comes the reward for the hard work done. I already kind of said that in some kind of way, but Venus, trine in Saturn, Venus, trine in the moon sextiling Mercury retrograde, the moon conjuncting Saturn. This is all on Saturday. So again, in a nutshell, if I can give it one or two sentences, on Saturday, we will see how it was beneficial to stay out of our head, to stay in our value and our worth of who we are. And don't let things get us off of our square, and be rewarded, if not by ourselves, by other people, but by ourselves, for the fear that we bust through, for the boundaries that we put on, so we can stay in contact with spirit and know exactly what we need to do and keep our eyes on that horizon. Does that make sense? Come on, y'all. Sunday, happy Mother's Day to all the beautiful mothers out there. The moon will absolutely be in Pisces. Again, ask questions if this doesn't make sense to you. The moon will be in Pisces. That's a good day for the moon to be in Pisces. To get all that unconditional love and fairness and just gooey stuff. That Pisces energy of forgiveness, again, of love, of being a little passive aggressive. So be easy on yourself if it seems like people are just trying to get along on Saturday. Good God, on Sunday. And the reason why I said that is because coming through this realistic week, on Sunday, if people are just trying to play nice play nice, don't fault them. Because oftentimes when we go through some mental shit, when we go through the need to just like stay afloat, in which this week is going to give us the opportunity to do. Just stay afloat and keep our head down and do what we got to do. Then we come out of that fog. Sometimes we just want to play nice. Sunday, with the moon being in Pisces, sometimes we just want to relax and play nice. And we don't have to continue to bring up things in which we have to confront. Okay? Please just remind yourself of that. Just love up folks on Sunday. And if some real shit comes up in which you feel like you need to address, I need to tell them about themselves, just wait. Just wait. Feel that day as the best day of just being open, being receptive, and seeing people's heart for who they are and who they are and what they want to do in life. Ooh, that sounds so general, but it's actually really real. On Sunday, Mercury will go direct at 11:17 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So it's a weird day in the sense that every time Mercury goes direct and then when it goes retrograde, it's always a little shaky because it's trying to get its momentum. So that day, Mercury can seem to be really bugging out. That's why, on top of that, it's necessary to be kind of passive aggressive with that moon in Pisces, pulling back and not necessarily looking for confrontations, but allowing people to get the benefit of the doubt, so to speak, because Mercury is going to be doing its thing, trying to find its direction again and move forward. Okay. But it's so beautiful. The moon, with being in Pisces, is going to sextile Uranus, it's going to sextile the sun, it's going to trine Mars, and it's going to be in conjunction to Neptune. Sunday is a watery day. Sunday is a watery day to just feel good, to put it on. I would say Sunday is a great day to be as affectionate as possible. That's for true. Use it as gold to just show people how you really feel. Show them by touching them, by loving them, by showing up gifts, but bringing them gifts, expressing yourself from the outside. Does that make sense? And being that with gifts and talking and showing your appreciation, to finish that sentence. And also sleep well, because the moon will be in conjunction to Neptune on that day. That evening, I know y'all know this, but I'm going to express it again. Whenever Neptune is hit like that, especially with the moon, you know you can go to bed and ask your people what you need to hear. What days? I looked at the word day. What needs to be said? What needs to be done? They like to connect with us in our sleep time. They, our ancestors and guides. So when the energy is low on the planet, that's when they reach us through our realm, REM, our REM sleep. So go to bed on Sunday, asking the important questions and waking up and seeing what those answers are, how you feel, what dreams that you can recollect, where those messages lie, okay, in your subconscious. If anybody wants to read, please put up your time. No, Sonia. Put up your sun, your moon, and your rising. Do you know where you're going to? Do you like the things that life is showing you? Go ahead, Keena. Where are you going to? Do you know? Oh, that's funny. I don't see any questions up here. So again, if you want a quick read, what's your sun, your moon, and your rise? I'd love for you to ask. All right. Right, Melissa? Audrey Mack, you have a Leo sun, a Pisces moon, and a Libra rising. Look at that. A Leo sun, a Pisces moon, and a Libra rising. Thank you, Alicia. You're so cute. Freeze nuts, Taurus, Virgo. What's what, baby? I know you got a sun in Taurus. What about your Virgo, Cancer? What is that? Rise, moon, I forget. All right, so let's start with the first sister that put it up. Audrey, sun in Leo, Pisces moon, Libra rising. You know, the first thing that jumps out at me too, again, me trying to be a teacher in this moment. Whenever you have whenever you have fire and water combination in your three big obvious, that's your sun, your moon, and your rise, always look at it as some steam type of energy, right? The water being the water and the fire being the fire, coming together as hot water, like hot steam, so to speak. And when I see Leo and Pisces combination, definitely feel that way, because here's the thing about Pisces energy, being that it's in your moon for sure. It's you express the need not only to be watery, to be calm, to be concerning, to be loving, in a way in which is sometimes not respected and reciprocated. And when the moon in Pisces doesn't see some type of reciprocation on some level, oftentimes it can become very, very, very passive aggressive, right? In a way in which it does not necessarily know how to ask for what it needs emotionally, young lady. And then what happens? The Leo is like, "Rrr." Here it comes with the fire creating the steam. So, do people ever really hear you, or do they feel the steam? Y'all get my poetry? More specifically, Audrey, do you get that? Oftentimes, you got to rely on your Mercury position, because that Leo lion wants to come out hot and heavy and get its respect, because you believe, and you do deserve respect, but it can come out kind of forceful, kind of bullying, kind of with high expectations. Remember, you're a Leo that's ruled by the sun, and the sun is like, listen, bitches, if I drop out of the sky, all y'all gonna be fucked up. Which is very true. And a lot of Leo people walk in the room just like that. But with that combination of that moon and that Pisces moon energy, sometimes when they get together, you have to literally ask for the type of love and understanding and emotions that you like and that you need, because the Leo in you is too forceful at times, and then the moon in its expression doesn't necessarily know how to say, I need a hug. It's going to do it in a very passive aggressive way, or give all the hugs in the world and feel like you're being duped because you're not being reciprocated the same kind of love. Does that make sense, Audrey? And then what you said you had, Libra rising, right? That Libra rising on you, she's trying to do her best and just kind of like being fair to everything that's coming through. Well, is it hardcore emotions and the fact that, I mean, hardcore sun and the fact that that Leo wants what it wants, or should we kind of like, be on the side of being passive aggressive and allow people to give what they can? That Libra rise in you can sometimes make you very, very indecisive about what it is you emotionally need. I'm only picking out one thing that I hear them saying, and hopefully this lands in some kind of way. Baby, speak up, because you are a Leo in the way in which your heart needs to be handled with tender loving care. And if it doesn't, you will feel like you're being duped each and every time, Audrey, my bad. You'll feel like you'll be duped each and every time, which will either allow you to be more passive aggressive and piss people off, or be too aggressive and expect some things from people in which they're not willing and or able to give you. That Libra on the front is like, it's okay, we can be fair about it, but are you getting what you need? I have no idea why it came out this way today, Audrey, but I needed to say it the way that I say it. I'm listening to them. There's a question, because Pluto is a warring planet. When it goes direct, will people go back to fighting again, frights? Uh-oh, Latrice. Because Pluto is a warring planet. You're welcome, Audrey. Again, I hope that makes sense. When it goes direct, will people go back to fighting again, frights? I don't kind of get that. Is that a typo? I don't get that. But here's the deal. Pluto is a warring planet. However, it's more, let me say that again. Mars is more of the warring planet. Pluto is more destructive. It's a difference. Mars will fight you. Mars will confront you until things are destroyed. Pluto just destroys a thing. There is no fight. Does that make sense? So maybe you can ask your question in a different way. Pluto going retrograde right now, sweetie pie, is about us basically trying to decide where our power lies and what else needs to be destroyed in order to move forward. So it's a little quiet in a sense. And what's really, really going back as Pluto is going retrograde, like I said in videos before, it's about this determining what other things in our weird ass structure, governmentally speaking, within ourselves need to be altered and destroyed and really cleaned out so we can move forward. I hope that makes sense. Cosmic Rose, you're a Cancer Sun, Aquarius Moon, Capricorn Rising. That's interesting. Ooh, that's so goddamn interesting. I ain't never seen a person with. Okay, so this is why I think it's interesting, because in a bunch of different ways, it's not good or bad. I say interesting for a bunch of reasons, as y'all already know, but it's my go-to word. It's interesting because you have a Cancer Sun, in which is Big Mama, right? On some level, is the person that wants to nurture, love on everybody that comes around you. Cancer Sun people, we are very special in that way, in which we love from a space that a lot of people cannot access. We have so much care and so much nurturing ability that sometimes it can pour on people a little too thick, especially when they're not used to it. But here you have this Aquarius moon, in which that is the way in which this nurturing energy is facilitated. Get that. And why? Because Cancer, I should say this, the moon is Cancer's planet. So although you are a Cancer and innately in your core, you want to nourish and big mama everybody and give everybody all the feels and affection, your moon in Aquarius is actually how you express it, which makes it interesting, right? Because the moon in Aquarius is detached like a motherfucker. Like, to be truthful with you, she don't necessarily want to give all the feels, all the affection in which you harbor inside. I hope that makes sense, because that's a little bit of a, not a conundrum, but it's on you. It's how you parlay the situation, especially with Capricorn on the rise, because Capricorn on the rise is like, I'm not letting none of this affection out. To be quite honest with you, we just got work to do, and we don't have time on some level to emote, to help people, to assist folks with feelings and to help my family in some kind of level. Capricorn is like, if I'm gonna help them, I'm gonna help them make money. I'm gonna help them get a house. I'm gonna help them in some practical way. But what about the feel good? What about the affection? So I say all that to say, Cosmic Rose, you got to find a way for yourself. You have to find a way to have this outlet of expression and emotions and affection that you want to put on people and that you need, because it's something about you with that Capricorn rise and your Aquarius moon that says, I don't need affection. I don't need the love. But then you can go home and go to bed crying because you want people to show you how much they care. Does that make sense? Cosmic Rose, I could be totally off base, but that's what I'm intuiting in this moment in time. I hope that makes sense for you. I hope that makes sense. Oh, Capricorn Sun, I don't know who this, I can't pronounce your name. Oh, the Sensei. Oh, the Sensei. Capricorn Sun, Moon, and Virgo. Here we go. Oh, well, a Capricorn Sun, Capricorn Moon, and a Virgo rise. That Virgo rise keeps that Capricorn authority definitely tucked back a little bit and allows you to be more service oriented to the people that you love. That's a beautiful thing. I love that the earth signs are working well together. But remember, I don't know where your water is in your chart, but remember to lean towards your water when you need to, because oftentimes you can get caught up into what's practical, what needs to happen, what is good on paper, as opposed to knowing what it is and feeling what it is and intuiting what it is that you need to do for your life. That's what I'm feeling. I don't know what this means, but for some reason, in seeing you, I think this is a man. I see a block around you, a wall around you. I don't know if you're having a hard time moving forward, or if you feel like there are blocks, or you feel like a deer in a headlight right now. But I think that some water needs to push through, meaning that you need to tap into your feel, or tap into a friend that may have a little bit more feeling than you than you do, so you can break the dam. I believe that you're a hard worker. I think that you work hard at getting what it is that you need to get oftentimes, but sometimes you don't listen intuitively to bring you exactly what it is that you need. Ooh, I'm not doing that. There's somebody's grandmother, and I don't know if it's yours, that just walked on in. But you have some bricks to break apart, young sir. I think it's a man. If that, I can't really tell on your picture, but you have some bricks to break away, because you're seeing things in a very one-sided, narrow-minded kind of space. This is for the Virgo rise person that I'm just reading. The Cap Sun, Cap Moon, and Virgo rise person. Okay. All right, Z, I got you. Taurus Sun, Virgo Moon, and a Cancer Rise. I love the Cancer Rise, brother. You know, when I finally meet you, I know you're going to give up some good hugs. People that have Cancer Rise always gives up some really, really, really good hugs. It's the maternal energy on the outside, right? Also, with your Taurus Sun, be careful of not overeating and allowing food to become an escape for you, brother, on some level. And I don't know if I ever told you that before, but more so than anything, I don't know what that is. More so than anything, it can bunch up your stomach. I don't know why I just saw that, but get on your digestive system, right? Because possibly, maybe there's some movements that you need to make, Z, within, I don't know if it's a professional type of situation and you're unclear. A lot of us are unclear in this moment in time, like I just explained, but also with Mercury rising. And what happens when you're unclear, sir, you can either fall into food or you can fall into a very sedentary kind of way, which it feels like mud, right? But the Cancer in you, understand that it is the leader out of Taurus and Virgo. It is the leader that says whatever it is that you feel in your emotions, this is what we do in this moment in time, oftentimes to push you out of indecision, to push you out of the mud. You have to lean towards Cancer energy, lean towards your lady, lean towards those that are leaders in emotions to push you out of some indecisive spaces. Okay, Z, this is for you, and I hope this hits you in a way in which makes sense in some kind of way. Again, oftentimes I can speak from where people are generally with their sun, their moon, and their rise, and then oftentimes, like today, people are peeking on in and allowing me to address where you are right now. So this is a right now, today kind of reading for you all. Am I on point, Z? I'm so glad, because again, thank you. Thank you for confirming that, because again, sometimes I can feel like I'm kind of like separate from y'all, but I'm picking up on y'all and I'm like, I don't know if this is true or not, but I'm gonna tell you. So thank you for confirming that. You need some water though, brother. This week is gonna help you in a way, Z, and everybody else, to again set up the ducks, the ducks. In a way, but stay high in that ethereal space, in the water in which we need to go. What feels right? What feels right? Oh man, Keena, thank you for saying that. We are so blessed to have you in our experience, Sonia. Thank you. I appreciate that. And please forgive me for not being too consistent on that freestyle Fridays in the last couple of weeks. Again, I did my best to explain why this particular Friday wasn't just working, and we're still working out some things within my family and the changes that happened, but I'm grateful for y'all just coming back. Whenever it is a little inconsistent, trust me and believe that I will come back. I will come forward to the space to show you and to share with you what comes through. Oh, thank you, Keena. You're so cute. All right, everybody. I think that's enough for today in regards to the reads. Let's go ahead and tap into this card. Not unless y'all have any other questions. We're already at an hour and 27 minutes, and I don't want to keep y'all any longer, but I appreciate y'all being here for sure, for sure. A girl needs a goddamn show, so I can get really paid for this, and y'all can get more information. We'll see what's going on. There's too much to do, y'all. It's way too much. All right, great Mother, Father, God. Oh, my guardian angels and ancestor spirits, please show us a card in which we need to be led to today for our highest consciousness. How we can move through this murky week clarity and with truth and understanding. Amen. Shame. It's another reminder, y'all, don't compromise. I know I read this before. There are 50 something 50 something cards in this deck. And for this to come up again, like within the last couple of weeks, it's necessary. But I really feel that for this week, honestly, that reminder not to compromise who you are. Remember, because our brain is going through some things, and because we think we know it all, and because we think we are tapped in a way in which the information may prove, but it's not proven for the long haul. It's only proven for the day or the situation or the circumstance. Remember that. And if that is a situation, you may find yourself needing to compromise with some people that can give you some results quicker than you think that it's going to give it to you. You understand what I'm saying? You may feel a little harried. Fuck that shit. Whatever they said, I'm just going to get what I need to get right now. Like short thinking as opposed to long-term thinking. You dig? That's why I think this card came to remind us not to compromise who you are. In the courts of ancient Japan, the male attendants were often selected from the ranks of petty criminals who were castrated. Because of their intimate familiarity with the activities of the court, they are often at the center of political and social intrigues and exercise a great deal of power behind the scenes. The two figures in this card remind us of sleazy and conspiratorial situations when Oh, hold on. The two figures on this card remind us of the sleazy and conspiratorial situations we can get into when we compromise our own truth. It is one thing to meet another halfway, to understand a point of view different from our own, and to work toward the harmony of the opposing forces. But it is quite another to cave in and betray our own truth. If you look deeply into it, we usually find that we are trying to gain something, whether it is power or the approval of others. If you are tempted, be aware. The rewards of this kind of compromise always leave a bitter taste in the mouth. Ashe, amen, ashe. That's my real reason for coming on here. I'm glad that card came up. And the practical steps that we need to take oftentimes will keep us focused on where we need to go from not only a harmonious perspective, but from a perspective in which we've been setting the seeds and gardening in some kind of way, our way to the truth of where we're going. Sometimes compromise and overthinking and people presenting the goal before the shit is even done can seem to throw us off in our thinking. You get that? Watch for that this week. Oh, I got 20,000. You waiting for 40? Here's 20,000 right now. So you want to go for the sure 20,000 instead of just being patient and waiting for the 40 to come next week or 2 weeks later? You'll get my analogy and example. Don't compromise your truth because people are trying to throw in little carrots to throw you off, you dig? And sometimes even yourself can throw yourself off because you think you know a lot. That's what I meant by that moon being in Aquarius and throwing us off our square. You dig? You're so welcome, Cicely Trotter. I love y'all, and I'm gonna be out the door. Do my best to come on Friday. It's not too much that's planned, but you never know what God has in store. So I'll be back. When it's time, I'll be forward, is what I really like to say. All right. Again, I hope this information helped you in some way. I hope you share this with some people. Please donate to the channel. And I want to big up, there's a few people, damn it, I forget her name, but there's somebody that always leaves me $10 every week. And I'm so grateful for you. Damn, I can't think of your name right now. I don't know if you want to be put on blast, but I see you and I thank you. I appreciate y'all. Every little bit helps. On a real, I'm just happy to be here and to share this so we can all get better. Really get better. Y'all already know that. All right. See y'all later. Take care of yourself, all right? So you can take care of everybody else.